Oh, I'm back now. Okay, I think it's back now. Sorry, guys, for that. It's my hotel Wi-Fi. Um, Stitch's Great Escape. So we didn't go on that because it was closed. So they must have closed it down. I'm sorry to say, but you should be able to see on Daniela's Instagram story some photos with Stitch himself, and on her YouTube coming up, you may or may not see some videos of Daniela doing the the meet and greet itself and saying hi to Stitch. And Stitch noticed she was wearing like a Stitch branded backpack, and he actually noticed the backpack and pointed it out, which was great. Peer to Beer, good night and have fun streaming, Nick. Unfortunately, got to go to work now. See you. Sleep well later. Thank you, Peer to Beer, for joining the show. Hope you saw this or got to this part of the show. I know that was a little while ago. I'm still on the backlog of comments. Kiki saying here, see you to Peer to Beer. Stitchings, cheering with 100. Thank you to Stitchings for the cheer. Oh, wow. Stitching saying, you rock for writing Pirates for me. I wrote it 40 times on my 17th birthday. I even got free passes for it as a gift from Disney. Wow, that was amazing. 40 times, damn. The most I've ever ridden a ride is the Spider-Man ride in Universal, which I don't know how many times exactly. I would say maybe 20 times total. But me and my brother went on the single riders and just kept going and going and going. And I basically know every line from that ride, audio line from the ride, but also every like movement and like different set piece from the ride as well. So when they changed the ride to Transformers, I like knew it by heart. I knew every single part of it. Oh, it looks like it counted this as a completely new stream. So sorry to everybody who the stream got cut out on. Oh, Decaf saying, if you're willing to head another 3 hours south of Disney World, we could totally hang out. I am, that's a tempting offer, Decaf, but I am going to go again to Disney World. This is almost a complete Disney and Universal trip. We're actually not doing many days that aren't. I think there's one day on this trip that is not Universal and everything else, or one is that is not theme parks and everything else is. So it's a very theme park focused trip. So it's going to be a really good time. Thanks everybody for joining back into the stream. It's a bit of a bummer here. I don't know what happened with the hotel Wi-Fi, but obviously you can't really count on it. So keep your eyes open for that kind of stuff. And of course, report drop frames if you see them. Rin saying it froze for me a bit. Kiki saying the same. Sorry about that, guys. Kiki refreshed it and it seems like it's okay. That's good to know. Also, I assume somebody would have spoke up if this was a problem, but do you see the Assassin's Creed? You see the Assassin's Creed thing on the left, right? And then do you see me behind the Assassin's thing, or am I on the right? And it's like I'm here, or I'm here, and the Assassin's Creed is here. Because the way that I'm looking at this screen right now, my head is sitting behind the Assassin's Creed book. But my understanding is that in this app will flip my camera for what you guys see, so that the Assassin's Creed book is here, and I'm here. Anyway, we got Stitching saying you got to do Kilimanjaro Safari in Animal Kingdom. Cool. Yeah, I would love that. I don't even know what that is. I did the Expedition Everest last time I was here. They had just built it, and that was really cool. I guess they kind of retrofitted the what's it called? The Matterhorn in Disneyland to have like Everest stuff. Like they put the Yeti in there, but it's not the same thing. And Matterhorn's also really rickety now. Rin is saying you're on the right. Okay, good. So I'm here. It's super weird to look at this because I can't even see my own face. I'm completely blocked by the Assassin's logo. Ooh, Kiki saying Renaissance Fair close to where I live actually has a castle. When I went one time, a guy was dressed as a pirate. He said everyone thought he was Jack. Didn't look like it to me. Told him he looked like Jack's dad. Nice. I went to a pirate day at the Renaissance Fair a little while ago, and that was really cool. I wore a pirate hat, and that was all the pirate stuff that I had. There are many people who are more creative than me in their pirate costumes. I'm going to try and tilt this camera down a little bit, which means putting a book under the back of my tripod. You know, this tripod actually has adjustable legs, but I did not bother to adjust them. We have Stitching saying, the safari is actual wildlife roaming free in this one area of Disney. You're in a Jeep. It's great. I had a baby rhino run in front of my Jeep and just hang out there for 5 minutes. They can't control the animals. I think I went on that actually when I was a kid. I remember distinctly being on a safari ride in Animal Kingdom and having a disposable camera. And disposable cameras for me when I was a kid were a lot like the way that I treat items in video games, where I never want to use them because I'm too scared that I might need it later. So when I have a disposable camera, I never want to use the photos in it, because what if I could have taken a better photo later? So I end up not taking any photos. Anyway, I was on the safari and took no photos with my disposable camera. It was stupid. Ren Reaper saying, oh, I've been on that ride. It's fun. Yeah, I'm going to definitely go on that safari. They say to get to Animal Kingdom, it opens earlier than the other ones, and they say to get to it as soon as you can because the animals are out, in the morning. So I'm going to try and do that safari, pretty early. But guys, we don't have too much time today. I want to try and get to bed. It's actually almost 2 a.m. Florida time. So let's do some AC Origins Desert Oath, another chapter of this book. It's actually not, for anybody who is listening or watching for the previous read through of AC Origins Desert Oath, the chapters themselves are not very long. So we will get through this pretty quick. Coffee. Also, we don't have to read a chapter. We can read whatever amount we want to. Stitching saying, yeah, go to the safari first or the line will be long. Yeah, okay, so then we'll definitely do it. It gets 2 hours longer if you don't wait there first. Yeah. All right, ready? AC Origins, Desert Oath. This is part 2 of my stream, chapter 3 of the book. So we're going to go in here. Story up to now, Bayek. It's telling a story. Actually, it's not Bayek's family. It's somebody else. It's another guy who we don't know. The protagonist guy, his family basically got slaughtered by this one villain in the previous chapter. And now we're going to find out what the heck happens. There's one story where this guy killed who he thought was the villain. We're not really sure whether or not it was. The second story was the villain killing his family. So now let's see what happens. Chapter 3. That day, the day our lives changed. We were sitting in our favorite spot, our backs against the warm stone of the outside of the Siwa fortress wall. Ooh, it's Siwa. Okay, Bayek's from Siwa. I'd seen the Lone Rider shimmering on the horizon, but to be honest, I'd given him little thought. After all, he was little more than a speck in the distance, just another part of the day, like the water lapping on the banks of the oasis beneath, or the people moving among the green of the plantations. Besides, I was sitting with Aya, and she was talking about Alexandria, as she often did, of how she would like to return there one day. As I listened, I watched the horseman reach the shores of the oasis, about to make his way into the village below. You should see it, Bayek, she was saying, and I pictured it as she spoke. Alexandria is where the whole world meets, where every language under the sun is spoken on the streets, where Greeks and Egyptians walk together, where the Jews have their own temples even, and scholars from around the world come to study at the great museum and library. Will you go one day, do you think? I shrugged. Possibly, but my destiny lies here. There was a pause. I know, she said sadly. You know what else Alexander did, I said, to try and lighten the mood. By the way, this is probably Bayek, right? He's talking to Aya. Oh, man, we got a lot of people commenting right now. I can't even read it. Talk about the safari. Safari is definitely going to be cool. Definitely going to check that out. Stitching saying other recommendations: Haunted Mansion, Winnie the Pooh, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster is really cool. I like that ride. Haunted Mansion we missed. We had a fast pass, but I missed it to go on Mine Train instead, which is really cool. And the fireworks went off exactly when we got up the first drop, which was amazing and very magical. Winnie the Pooh we went on. Space Mountain we didn't do. Splash Mountain we didn't do. But both of those are in LA, so I figure that I could do those there. Of course, they're always a little bit different, but I do love those ones over there. Winnie the Pooh, I think, is even better than it is in Anaheim. But back to the thing. There was a pause. I know, she said sadly. You know what else Alexander did, I said, and tried to lighten the mood. Besides creating this great city, I mean. He came here, to Siwa. He came to visit the oracle at the Temple of Amun. In Siwa we had 2 temples. One was abandoned, but the other was like a small town within a town, the Temple of Amun. How did he get here? Said Aya. Well, I said, the story I prefer is that Alexander and his companions were in the desert, almost dying of thirst, when 2 serpents appeared to them and guided them out of the desert to Siwa. Aya chuckled. Or perhaps he just came here on a pilgrimage. I prefer my own version. Ever the romantic. So, what happened while he was here? He visited the oracle. Now, nobody knows exactly why the oracle said to Alexander, but he came away from the meeting convinced that he was the son of Amun, and he went on to be crowned pharaoh at Memphis, as well as conquering many lands. You think our oracle was responsible for all that? I'd like to believe so, I said. The point is that our oracle at Siwa is considered infallible. Our temple of Amun is known throughout the land, and it needs protecting. Her head dropped and dark hair fell in braids as she grinned. And so we get back to our destiny. Tell me something, Bayek. Are you really sure you want to follow in your father's footsteps? Do you know it, truly, deep in your heart? So, okay, we are following Bayek then, I guess. Good stuff. Stitchings, loving Disney. Where do you think the name came from? I love that about your name, that it's a Lilo and Stitch reference. And now I'm glad that I've seen the movie. It's good stuff. Which was a good question. Of course, I said. We sat for a while in silence. I wish I could be more like you, she said, more content. Don't you wish it were the other way around? I said, testing. That I were more like you? The question hung, and that was how we sat for some moments more, until our friend Hepzibah came running along the path towards us. I have his sword. He's the guy that died during the game. Bayek, Bayek, he called. A messenger from Zaudi had arrived. What of it? Said Aya. She sat up, our afternoon well and truly disrupted. He came from Sabu, said Hepzibah breathlessly. What do you mean? I heard myself say. Sabu is about to depart, huffed Hepzibah. Your father is leaving Siwa. In moments, the 3 of us had scrambled down from the fortress wall and made our way into the village, where residents appeared from within.